Look at your father with his bonsai trees. Always cut, cut, cut.
Bonsai is the art of choosing a plant which has the potential of becoming a good bonsai, then training, shaping, and pruning it in such a way so that it resembles a full-size tree, expressing a natural beauty, artistic, and an impression of nature. Since ancient times, many styles and types of bonsai flourished in Japan. Young Japanese pines were a favorite. The trunk was layered several times in tiers. Trees trained in this way were praised for centuries.
In Japan, sending photographs of yourself to families was a way of finding a potential husband. Many women did this. I was no exception.
What are the characteristics of a good bonsai?
I possessed skills in all the acceptable pastimes for Japanese women: cooking, flower arrangements, tea ceremony, and was well dressed with a nice figure as well.
There are two main things to look for when selecting a bonsai. First, an interesting trunk with a good taper. And an attractive bark.
Hi, so desu yo.
One of the ways the bonsai grower categorizes bonsai is according to the trunk style. Here are just a few. The formal upright style. The informal upright style. The slanting trunk style. The windswept style. The weeping style. The cascading style. The twisted trunk style. The knobby trunk style. And the root over rock style. The second characteristic of a good bonsai is the pleasing arrangement of the branches.
But what can a photograph tell about a person? What is he like? Will he accept you the way you are? Or will he try to change you?
The goal of the bonsai grower is to use healthy stock to recreate a miniature of the tree found in nature. The bonsai artist does not add to a tree, thus cluttering it. Rather, by pruning. And wiring. The tree is actually simplified. The artist reduces unpleasant aspects. And enhances finer qualities. The most important quality is that it must look like a tree, retaining all the best of its natural characteristics. Where does one find bonsai?
We met in Japan after the war.
The simplest way is to buy one that is already made. The advantage of obtaining a ready-made bonsai is the immediate gratification. The drawback, since these bonsai are imported from Japan, would be the expensive price tag. Another place one can find bonsai is in the wild, often high in the mountains. Or by rocky, windy seaside. The bonsai artist will try to recreate this atmosphere in a bonsai setting.
We married, and I left my homeland.
Since one is removing the plant from its familiar habitat, one should choose a plant with a rugged temperament, because these plants can take the severe adjustments required in the transplanting and dwarfing procedures.
I was young and strong when I came to America.
Yes.
When first transplanting bonsai, the bonsai grower must be careful not to sever the main root, as this would harm the plant.
I didn't know anyone in America.
Also, transplanting to too small or too large a container would not be beneficial for the plant.
Such a big country. I felt lost and helpless because I couldn't speak the language.
Once transplanted, taking care of bonsai can be done in your spare time.
I was always alone because your father was always working.
The bonsai must be given the correct amount of water and nutrients for it to survive. Bonsai have a tendency toward drying, and if it dries completely, it will die.
Slowly, I began to see that the man I married was not the man I thought he was. He had a terrible temper, and it would break things. My favorite dishes and glassware that I had collected.
To maintain the vigor and color of the trees, fertilizers are used, but are purposely kept weak and given sparingly.
But then he would be nice again, a man of character, working harder than anyone to support me.
If the tree is over-fertilized, there will be too much new growth, thus losing the shape which has been built up through the years.
Then he would get angry again, and sometimes he would throw my favorite pet away in mountains.
The bonsai grower must continually shape the tree throughout the year. One of the main methods of dwarfing bonsai is by cutting back any unnecessary new growth.
Years went by, and my life became tied to my home. I never learned to drive because he was afraid I couldn't learn to drive safely. Or maybe he was afraid of the freedom the car would bring.
The use of wires is another effective method of shaping bonsai. To shape the trunk, start winding the wire from the base. If a branch is too high, bend it down. If too low, bend it up. If bent to the right, wind it to the left. Care must be taken not to wind it to the breaking point. If the trunk or branch is resistant to wiring, then the final method of shaping would be used. metal clamps.
I lost my strength to fight back. I do not think I am long for this world.
Certain trees should never be wound when they are old. If it must be done, every week or two, give an added twist, gradually bringing the trunk back into the required form.
Many times I wish I could start my life over, to begin again. I spend my days in the garden, growing small flowers, painting them, and caring for my family. But I dreamed of another kind of life. Ah, look at your father with his bonsai trees. Always cut, cut, cut. He made my life a bonsai.
Bonsai is the art of choosing a plant which has the potential of becoming a good bonsai, then training, shaping, and pruning it in such a way so that it resembles a full-size tree, expressing a natural beauty, artistic, and an impression of nature.